So I'm shaking things up a little bit here, and I'm going to do my monthly newsletter tip of the month as a video. Now I know some of you might prefer reading, so I apologize if this upsets you, but I know some people prefer video. So I'm trying to shake things up and reach more people. So some people might be more prone to hit the play button than they will just scroll down and continue reading. So I wanted to combine a few topics that I've talked about over the years. I started doing this monthly newsletter in October of 2015. So it has been over 7 years. It was 7 years last month that I've written this newsletter every single month. And back in December of 2015, I talked about, do you have holiday stress, right? What goes on in your world during the holidays? And so I'm going to read a few excerpts from this because I think this is a really important reminder. So I'm going to start here. I've asked this question in many of my presentations at conferences and at the local community college where I've done lots and lots of teaching over the years. Typically, almost every single hand in the room goes up, right? Anybody here got stress? So I'm sure this is no surprise to you, and I'm pretty sure you're nodding your head right now when I ask you, have you got stress? The world has become more stressful than it's ever been. We are inundated constantly with information, with technology at our fingertips. We know what's going on in every country of the world at any moment in time, which we never did before. We are the recipients of whatever information is promulgated at us, and no matter what side of the fence you're on, it's a lot to handle, a lot to process, and it's very stressful. And at this time of year, everyone wants to be thinking about love and goodwill toward your fellow man or woman. And yeah, so how do we do all that? How do we navigate this world and make that happen, right? So now that we know we're all feeling stressed, I want to talk about what we can do about it. That's really important. What can we do about it? Unless your life is perfect, I expect you would welcome change in at least one area, if not many areas. If you're anything like me, I always want to improve my life, right? There's always ways we can improve. How we do that, the process, the practical application is where most of us struggle, right? So first we need to acknowledge that we want to change something, right? It's kind of like having an epiphany. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't want that anymore. That's an epiphany. Sometimes we don't even realize we're stuck in this hamster wheel and until we kind of see it, right? So you can have an epiphany and not experience any change in your life. Just having an epiphany. And I remember learning this I was back in college in, it was English 101, English Composition 101, right? We talked about it, and an epiphany doesn't necessarily, it can be the catalyst for a life change, but not everybody changes things just because they have an epiphany, right? Sometimes we're kind of lost in this, I don't know what to do, even if we have that. So I want to go out on a limb here and guess that the added stress of these holidays causes us to struggle to maintain healthy disciplines and sabotages good self-care, right? I know many people, even when it's not the holidays, I hear this constantly when I hear from consults who say, you know, they'll leave me a phone message or they'll be on the phone or we'll do a Zoom call and they'll say, oh, you know, I work, I take care of someone, I have this on my plate, I have that on my plate, and they have very little time left. Their perception and their perspective tells them they have very little time left to take care of themselves. So a big part of working with someone is for me to brainstorm and problem solve ways for them to fit in good self-care, right? And doing the right things in their world so they can have lifelong well-being, which I'm going to finish with that topic in a moment. So I'm going to list some of the most common healthy habits that fall by the wayside this time of year. Eating well. Even people who eat pretty well throughout the year will really kind of throw that out the window between Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's like it becomes a whole month of not, oh, well, it's the holidays. Now, I know all of you may not may not celebrate Christmas, you may celebrate Hanukkah, there may be other holidays that you celebrate, but we do use holidays as a reason to treat ourselves, right? And I'm not saying you should never treat yourself, but if you're going to treat yourself for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you really have gotten away from healthy eating, and your body will reap that reward, right? Another thing that falls off the wayside, exercising. Anywhere 4, 5, 6 times a week. And it doesn't have to be for 3 hours at the gym, right? Doing a really good 30-minute 3-plane functional workout can really do your body good, right? Drinking at least 64 ounces of water daily. A lot of the times, probably 365 days a year, people aren't drinking enough water. They're not hydrated. And, you know, I've got articles that talk about dehydration and how it can lead to headaches and chronic pain and muscle pain, fatigue and GI issues. I mean, not drinking enough water wreaks havoc on your body. You really need to be well hydrated. And if you're drinking caffeinated beverages, alcoholic beverages, you need even more water because those things inhibit your antidiuretic hormone, your ADH, and now you're losing water. It tricks your body into losing water, so you become more dehydrated. That's probably the biggest thing about hangovers is dehydration. That's why the headaches and the aches, and it's dehydration, right? And of course, alcohol's toxic, and if you drink too much, you've toxified yourself pretty good. All right, sleeping 7 to 9 hours a night. Most of us are not getting enough rest. We're not getting a healthy night's sleep. You know, if you struggle with that, there are strategies, there are things you can do. So I want to expand a little bit based on what I had written many years ago. So as far as eating, right? A lot of people struggle with disease-inducing temptations. Disease-inducing temptations for, as I said, 6 weeks or more this time of year, right? We've got friends, coworkers, loved ones, and family making and sharing all kinds of sweets and treats galore. And we get bombarded with them every single day, often several times a day. Does this stress you out because you don't want these things and you don't want to hurt their feelings, or it looks really good and it's so tempting? There's all kinds of stress going on, right? Exercising. Schedules tend to implode when you add anything to an already overloaded list of responsibilities. How do you manage to exercise consistently when you need to shop, entertain, attend gatherings, and still work, take care of family, and more? Many of you have a lot of things on your plate. Adding more to your plate, what's the first thing that's going to go? Exercise, self-care, right? Now, since exercise is known to decrease stress and you're doing it less, guess what happens to your stress level? All right? Drinking water. If we're celebrating for weeks on end, it tends to include lots of cocktails, wine, IPA beers. Your water consumption can suffer horribly at this time. There's also eggnogs, even vegan options, right? And specialty flavored lattes, tempting your taste buds. Of course, as I said, alcohol and caffeine will dehydrate you, especially if you're drinking less water, which adds to the body's stress levels. Okay? All right, sleeping. So much to do and so little time will definitely influence how many hours of rest you get. And unfortunately, this can happen for weeks on end. So, how are you doing from what I just talked about? Any of this ringing true in your life? All right. I'm not somebody who enjoys stirring up negative things with no solution or hope in sight. So that's not my goal here, right? Here's what has worked for me and for countless others who make a decision to not let the holiday season destroy their health and well-being every year. And a lot of people put on weight. That 5 pounds a year that's gained is often gained between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Yeah, scary, right? So, first, make a decision before it all hits. That puts you in control. Make a decision. Make a plan. It's when we're caught off guard that we do things and then later regret that we did them because we were caught off guard. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to say. So plan, okay? Make a decision. Who doesn't want to have more control in life, right? That's a little less stress right there. Okay, So make a decision to choose when and what you will treat yourself with, both at work and at home. Now, a lot of you are working from home, so it's just at home, right? Or going to neighbors, friends, families. Keeping in mind, Christmas is just one day, right? It's not all the weeks since Thanksgiving. You will be amazed at how much control you have when you decide ahead of time that you will have a treat at work on Wednesday and one at home on Saturday. You planned ahead. You made a decision. It's easy to follow your decision. All the other days will be free of treats unless they're fresh fruit or some other healthy alternative. And there are a lot of healthy alternatives, right? The internet, search the internet, you can make lots of healthy version treats. I'm not talking ones that are loaded with sugar and fat, I'm talking healthy versions, right? Write down your exercise times in your schedule and don't let other things take precedence. If it's scheduled, it'll happen. If it's not scheduled, right? Here's my schedule book, right? You've got to write it in there, okay? And then you won't mistakenly schedule other things when you are intending to exercise, all right? Consider this a present to yourself, and it doesn't add to your credit card bill, and you'll be mobilizing your immune system with some aerobic workouts. That's just the ticket to stay cold and flu free this season or any other season. Get that immune system immobilized, right? 30 minutes of moving mobilizes your immune system. It mobilizes your white blood cells. It mobilizes you for quite a while afterward. So you get a nice added benefit there, okay? And then when it comes to drinking water, use a measured container, and I wish I had brought one in here. I didn't plan ahead. I apologize. But ensure that you are drinking some at least every 30 minutes. Set your phone. I set my phone. Set your phone. All you have to do is go to clock, and you can set it. I like to set it for 20 minutes, but you hit start, and there you go. It'll count down, and it'll let me know, oh, it's been 20 minutes. Time for me to get up from my desk, do some back bends, do some squats, get some circulation, open up the psoas, and drink some water, right? That way, at the end of the day, you don't realize, oh my gosh, I didn't drink any water, and you can't chug it all at the end of the day. That's not how it works, okay? Just 2 ounces of water every half hour adds up to 64 ounces in 16 hours. So if you sleep for 8, you're up for 16. A little shot glass of water every 30 minutes. I had people tell me I couldn't possibly drink 64 ounces of water. That's way too much water. A shot glass of water every half hour, everybody can do that, right? So as far as rest goes, I don't want to presume to know your challenges or your responsibilities, okay? I would not disrespect you in that regard. I find it really condescending when other people try to tell me how to manage my time because they have no clue about my priorities, my goals, my responsibilities, right? But what I will share is that it is important to get to bed at a similar time every night. I've done the research, right? And going to bed earlier is known to be better than sleeping later in the morning. So if you can, that is a healthier practice. Now, I've often opted to not watch a show late at night, and I've put my book away when I see how late the hour has become, right? And I'd rather get up earlier to finish a task than stay up later than is wise. I'm fresher in the morning. That's me. So, plan your holiday and take control to have lifelong well-being.